of you could join us this morning for our webinar on SmartPlant Foundation in the Construction 2010. With that, I want to go ahead and introduce Michael Buss. He joined Intergraph in 2001. He possesses more than 20 years of materials management, system development, and consulting experience. Michael is a natural fit in his role as Vice President for Global Business Development and Product Management of Intergraph's Materials Management, Project Control, and Construction product line with Intergraph's Process Power and Marine Division. He possesses strong expertise regarding EPC business processes, stems from dozens of implementations around the world. Michael holds a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from Germany. And thank you very much, Michael, for joining us today, and we'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole, for your introduction. So I'm pretty excited about this webinar today, and thanks for you all joining this webinar. And we will have the 60 minutes and wanted to go through with you about our solution, SmartPlant Construction 2010. Here's a quick agenda. So first, obviously, wanted to discuss where's actually the pain and why we want to do something, explaining you what needs to be done, what an integrated construction solution might look like, go through a detail, what is actually SmartPlant Construction, how it looks like, how it feels like, what customers are saying. And then at the end, feel free to write down questions, and I'm happy to answer. So hopefully we'll have around 10 or 15 minutes at the end of this webinar for question answers. Okay, so let's get started. There's obviously a challenge in the construction industry. So several surveys were made in several countries. So one, for example, in Canada, survey was made, how is actually labor used at construction site? And some time is used for traveling, for tools and materials, as you can see in the chart. But then there's 32%, basically the labor is the people are waiting at construction site and doing nothing. So waiting for equipment, doing nothing. And this can be because of wrong plannings, changes in the planning in the meantime, materials is not available, or for example, work is just not sequenced right. So the people, the fitters are coming in before the welders, and this kind of deal. So there is, my point is, around 30% in the construction side is basically waiting and idle time. We feel can be improved by a better planning. So to illustrate kind of on the next PowerPoint, kind of what does it mean actually, this 30% of waiting idle time, this is around, when you go back, construction costs, just the construction side is typically, let's say, 20, 25 or 40% of total installed cost of a project. So if you have a project of, let's say, $1 billion, then a third is $300 million for construction. So we said before, 30% is waste, so 30% again from 300 million, that means easily 100 million is an opportunity to improve. So if you just improve, let's say, by 5% or 10%, this is suddenly from 100 million, 10 million or $5 million in terms of what the savings can be. And the reason why you have all this waiting and idle time of the labor is because people can't make the right decisions. So they need to decide, can we now do the work? So they, for example, create perhaps a work package, including we need to install these isometrics. You give it to your team, and then you find out, hey, there is no material available. Or for a better planning, perhaps you want to have all the information from engineering in a way of a 3D model, or perhaps link this together with a Primavera schedule that you can see the construction sequence. As I said before, perhaps there's a wrong construction sequence creating all these problems, and just verifying this perhaps in a 3D model, the construction sequence, so that you can see any bottlenecks, any issues, kind of a deal. So that's the idea why we feel a better construction planning beforehand will improve the construction. More in detail, in detail, more, let's say, in the technical side, is what we feel we need to do is that all the data sets that's created during the whole project execution needs to be available for the construction managers, for the construction planners, so they have the latest drawings, so they know the latest warehouse information, all this, can make the decision that we connect this 2D, 3D data with the right drawings, with the right documents. Here's, for example, the checklist for installation of these specific items, and you put this into a work package kind of a deal. So linking basically all this information together from engineering and procurement, Primavera, scheduling as an example, and be able to make the decisions. So at the end, improve construction planning by having all information, let's say, at one dashboard, and creating a work package and analyze, are really all material available, is this the right schedule, is this the right sequence, and so on. So this is now, when you go into details, how we feel this can be represented or presented to an end user, is there's now all these different data sets available, as I said, the 3D model, but also the in an early stage, for example, P&IDs, materials management, schedule, and so on. And our tool, what we now created, SmartPlant Construction, allows basically now doing this integrated planning, and it's a user interface over these different data sets, and then making that you can make the decisions. So there's also a process called work phase planning. It's a process when you create work packages, make sure all constraints are fulfilled. It's really all the drawings are issued for construction. Is the material really available? Is it the right schedule, and so on. So, and when you create all these work packages, that you can do a 4D animation, that you can see, okay, this work package is planned in August, the next is planned in September, and with a 4D animation, basically you can then understand if the construction sequence is right and optimized in the best way. And when you execute the work packages, SmartPlant Construction also allows you to see the construction status, how much is now installed, and where's material missing, and show me in red where we have work packages and they are late, show me in green where we have work packages and they're ready to go and all is fine. So that's kind of the main functionality. You can see it on the PowerPoint on the right side. We have the SmartPlant Construction all around construction planning, and then visualize, difficult word, show the status basically in a 3D model. So that goes to also to the first poll question. I just would like to know if you can understood what I was just said. So Nicole, if you can please host the show the first poll question.
Okay, I think it's up there. Do you agree with the business value a construction solution would deliver? So everyone can take a few moments. Looks like half have voted. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and then share the results. Sorry. So on that one, Michael, we had 93% of the people said yes, 0% said no, and 7% were unclear.
It looks like I'm doing a good job explaining the benefits. Awesome. So looks like there's a winner here. So, and that's also what we see from the industry, that there is just waste and waiting time happening because people can't decide and we don't have the right information available, and so on and so on. So enough said. Let me show you now the kind of SmartPlant Construction in action, that you can get a kind of a feel or how actually SmartPlant Construction looks like, how a typical job is done by the construction planner, and I think you will hopefully later agree that user interface is important. So we created a unique, easy user interface so that basically without training you can use construction. And after you saw basically the 20-minute demo, I think you basically then trained on SmartPlant Construction and can use it. So let me show you this, how it looks like. So I need to give me 1 second. Need to put this on the right screen. I'm almost there. It's coming up. I do full screen, and I need to put this 1 second. I have here 2 screens. Oh, I have 2 screens. View. One second, bear with me. I'm sorry. I can't find the see?
Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. We can see the screen.
Yeah, I can't see the play button. 1 second. Something's wrong with the. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it. It's just not playing.
Perhaps I can go to a different screen. Okay. Now you should be able to see it, right? You see it?
It's on the same screen, Michael.
Can you, can't see. Can you see it? Or?
It appears like maybe it's frozen. It doesn't seem to be moving.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, no, he's trying.
Can you see the movie?
Right now I'm seeing your kind of thumbnails.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Michael, if you've got 2 screens, can you just drag it over onto the screen that's being shown?
Yeah, I can't see. Let me stop. So hopefully I'm getting there now. Press the fingers. Is it now good? No, it should be good.
Right now, now I see, yeah, three boxes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Ready to go. Good. So now we're ready to go. And let's rock and roll.
Instructions. But there's three key areas. There's work packages. This is where you'll create and maintain work packages. There's drawings. This is where you'll access the drawings from your design basis for placement in the work packages. And models, where you'll actually access 3D models from your design basis also to populate work packages. So let's go ahead and dive into the product. The first area we'll go into is work packages. And as you see, there's large reflective icon representing the work packages themselves. And each of the icons represents the discipline that the package belongs to. And you can narrow the package search down by entering a name field. For instance, if you begin to type the word piping, immediately it narrows the work packages down to those which start with the word piping. This could be applied to the other disciplines such as structural steel, instrumentation, electrical, and so on. So you can quickly get to the packages by simply starting to type in the name field. To clear that, you just simply hit the X mark. It brings back all the packages. Notice how the packages can scroll across the screen. We have designed the product to be able to be used in a kiosk, in a field, or in portable laptops in a touch screen mode. Another key feature of the search capability is the filter by date capability. This provides you the capability to quickly filter by 1 week, 3 weeks, or 8 weeks to have a look-ahead window to see those packages that are scheduled during those time intervals. You can also adjust that with the date slider bar. For instance, if I wanted to go out and look and see what was to be planned to be worked on in the early 2011 time frame, I could do so, or I could back that up to cover late 2010 into 2011. So a quick capability to allow you to search for packages either based on a name or based on a look-ahead window or a date interval. So let's go ahead and begin to work through and create a new work package. I've issued the new work package command. I'll come in and let's just call this piping spools 6767, and give that a description of major spools and area 1. And here's the first integration point of the application. The construction work package number, or CWP number, that comes from your master schedule is provided in a pull-down list. So this is the list from Primavera of the major construction work packages in your project schedule. We can associate this construction work package to a parent construction work package in the actual Primavera schedule. We could import that data from either Primavera directly via their software development kit, or we could bring in the exact same data from a predetermined formatted Excel spreadsheet. So there's two ways to pull in your construction work package, either via Primavera or Excel. Also, the API that's been developed for that capability to be tailored and expanded to include the Microsoft project or any other scheduling system, because it's an application programming interface. It has an easy-to-use interface for building those integration points. You could also associate an engineering work package to this particular work package if we desired. We could assign this to a contractor, and go ahead and assign that to a contractor A for this particular package. A purpose for the package. We've got Notice when I assign the discipline, the actual icon on the right changes to adequately represent, so you'll have a quick reference to take a look at the package to know what discipline that it belongs to. So notice now that we've defined some basic boilerplate information for the package, and we have an information icon. I'm going to go ahead and save this package, and this means something significant to SmartPlant Construction. It knows you're about to work through schedule constraints, that you're going to establish content such as drawings and other documents. Those drawings are going to have components on them. There will be components in the package that need to be worked, and work steps need to be assigned to, and progress needs to be tracked against. There's going to be a material availability capability to run forecasts for the materials required for that package. And if you have the appropriate privileges, you will be able to run reservations for materials. You'll be able to associate files and documents and folders and subfolders to the actual work packages and snapshots. And you'll see in a moment we'll go to the 3D model and associate a snapshot to this package. So let's proceed forward. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule information. As you can see, I associated on initial creation this particular piping spool package to a parent construction work package. You can see the information that has been brought over from the Primavera schedule related to that construction work package, which can be used for reference when you're building your packages here. I'm going to go ahead here and assign some dates to this particular work package. These dates are going to come into play later on in the demonstration when I begin to take a look at material availability and also to run 4D animation. These dates are going to come into play at that point. I'm going to go ahead and manually associate some estimated man hours to this package, which you'll see a little bit later on how when you begin to add detailed components, you can set up SmartPlant Construction to actually calculate the estimated man hours based on the components and the properties of those components. Let me go ahead and save the schedule information to the package and move on across the dashboard. We'll go to drawings now. As you can see, there have been no drawings yet that have been associated with this, but I've got a nice little browser down here at the bottom that allows me to scroll through my drawings. And I can also apply my quick find filter, as you saw me do in the work packages browser. This type filtering is available in all the browsers, whether it's models, drawings, etc., or work packages. Now, to associate a particular drawing to a package, I just simply select the drawing or drawings in the bottom pane and drag and drop those into the drop zone of the actual work package. And what this does is it adds the work package, adds the drawing to the work package, and the components on that drawing to the work package. It allows you to begin work on that. We can also view the drawing at any time by simply double-clicking on the drawing, and it brings up a nice little viewer with some basic view commands that allow you to view this intelligent drawing. I did a little fit command there. I can pan around in the drawing. This is a hot-spotted drawing, so these are all intelligent items in the drawing. As you begin to touch these items, you can hit your right mouse button and bring up the properties for that component. You can also see the models that this particular item's in. We'll get to the 3D model in a moment, but I want to go through a simple paradigm first of populating the package in the event that you did not have a 3D model. So I'm going to go ahead across and hit components, which is the next item on the dashboard here. As you can see, I've got a component list. This is loaded from the drawing itself. The drawing was read. All the components were populated into the component list. And this is in preparation to do a couple of things. One is to assign work steps to these components and to calculate the man hours associated with each of these components to come up with an estimate, overall estimate for the package. So the next step I'm going to perform is to actually generate the work steps for these particular components. Now this is customizable by you, so you can set up for the components and component types, you can set up the standard set of steps that you want to see for that component type and the weighing of that step. And also you can hook up the information to an estimating software that allows you to calculate the man hours for that particular component. And at this point, I can actually claim progress. I can claim progress at the step level. If I just wanted to claim a particular step, I could do that. If I wanted to claim progress at the component level, I could do that. Or I could actually interface to allow you to capture progress by selecting at the various levels the progress that's occurring on this particular package. So now you see that I've claimed for the entire drawing. Continue to move across to the next tab, which is a very important integration point for the product. SmartPlant Construction is delivered off the shelf with an interface to SmartPlant Materials, which is an integrated material management product. This interface has also been developed with an application programming interface that will allow you to interface with a non-SmartPlant Materials system, one that you may have developed in-house, or possibly you bought another commercially off-the-shelf available product. But just keep in mind that the API is there to allow you to interface with those systems. So if you have the appropriate privileges, you can run a forecast for this particular work package and take a look at the information in SmartPlant Materials as it relates to that. And also you notice that you get some alerts if item is not on hand or has no estimated time of arrival. You will get that flagged to you, or if the dates are outside the required on-site date for the package, you'll be alerted of that. And as I mentioned, if you have the appropriate privileges, you can take this a step further and actually run a material reservation for the package, and this would reserve those materials in the warehouse. And certainly we can cancel those reservations if we chose to do so. And if you were to delete the package, it would also cancel the reservations. As we move on across files, we've built the interface to allow you to add files or add folders that contain files and may contain subfolders. So a quick demonstration of that, I will go to my computer, go to some files that I've already staged here. Here's a construction safety procedure. To associate that to the actual package is the same type of paradigm. You just simply select the item and drag and drop it into the drop zone of the package to associate that item. Now I'm doing this from the operating system. I could also perform this same procedure for documents that were loaded into SmartPlant Foundation, which is the underlying technology under SmartPlant Construction. And these are documents here that are shown that are loaded there. If I wanted to drag and drop one of those, I could put those in there, or subfolders within that, by simply dragging and dropping onto the package itself. So this puts a test folder that may have subfolders up under it and may have documents within those. So a quick capability to associate various documents to the actual package. Snapshots, you can also associate a snapshot to the package, and this will be where I move away from the 2D environment here and go into the three-dimensional environment and to capture a snapshot of this particular package. So back at my home page, I'm going to load up the models. These are the list of models that have been loaded from the design basis into SmartPlant Construction that's available to be used as an interface for actually populating work packages. So I chose a particular area, a particular model there, the sulfur recovery area, and it displays that 3D model fitted in my window. And I have a nice little, very simple to use dockable control here that allows me to view the model. I can do basic functions such as look up and look down and look left and look right. I can move into the model. I can move out of the model. I can pan down and up and to the left and to the right. And then I can use the fly command to use the mouse in conjunction with keyboard commands to actually go into a gaming mode where I can fly into the model and fly around in the model just like I were on a helicopter, basically flying around. I can move around, turn around, I can go forward, I can go backwards, obviously go left and right using the mouse movement. If any time I get lost in the model, I can simply run a quick home command, and this will take me back to my original home position in the model for viewing. But what I want to do is to go ahead and capture a snapshot, and what I can do to quickly do that, I can use the filters command. I draw your attention to this command, and And this command brings up a list of available filters. We can filter the model by disciplines. We know what disciplines are actually in the model. We know what drawings are in the model. We can actually filter the model based on external data sources, such as Access databases and SQL databases and Excel spreadsheets. We'll come back to all of these in a moment. Materials data, we can actually apply material status visually to the model so you can see key material status about the model. Packages themselves, as you begin to build packages, you will be able to have those available in your list of filters to apply those on demand. Package status, you can look and see when things have actually planned to start, when they're planned to finish, when they've actually started, when they have actually finished. It can also show you what components are in a package already and those components that are not in a package. And again, we'll come back to each of these filters in a moment. And if you apply these filters in succession, you can always save those to be retrieved later quickly. And we'll show that. And also queries. We'll do some queries into the database, and you can save those queries. And last but not least on this particular list is spool information, so we know all the spools that are actually in this model too. So let's go ahead and get a snapshot by using the filter capability. What I'll do is go into drawings. I'll go down to the particular drawing that was the subject that we added a moment ago, and I can either select the box here to apply the filter, or I can simply drag and drop the filter onto the model. And what that does is it turns all the things in the model that are not in the filter to a wireframe. I can quickly turn that off, and I have in my view that actual item in which I can take a snapshot. I can use my encircle mode to adjust how I may want to view that in the snapshot for the package. I may want to pick this view here. I can also do a measurement command and apply that measurement so I know what the distance is. That I simply find my package that I want to apply it to and associate that to the package. Now I'll save that off. Now if I go back to my package now, I will see that I have that snapshot available in the package. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and show the print function. As you can see, we quickly, within a matter of just minutes, build a package, establish schedule information, place the drawing in it, components, assign work steps, look at material availability, associated files, and snapshots of that particular package. I'm going to go ahead and print the package now so you can see the results of the package in a composite PDF. So as you can see now, the printed package is shown on the screen. This is a template that we provide with the product that you can use to customize to make the format and the look and the feel of the report meet your specifications. We've got some boilerplate information here. Here's the drawings. We've added one drawing. This would be your drawing list. We actually see the drawings. These are all the components and the work steps that are associated, standard set of work steps, and the weighing of those steps associated with that component. There's lots of components in the package, so we'll move past this to show some of the other content. This is the material list. It shows you your material availability and location, required on-site information, and estimated time of arrival information for the particular package. You can plan around this. As you remember, I added a popping checklist to the package, or basically some standard steps that need to take place for that package. I added a sample construction safety document. This is a pretty large document, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll past this particular document on down to show other content within the package itself too. We also added a couple of folders and test folders within the package itself, and the snapshot itself, as you see here, was added to the package, and the physical drawings themselves. Again, this is a template that you can use to format and sequence this content however you choose to do. But a quick, in a matter of just minutes, I was able to create an entire package and to be able to print that package. But now I'm going to go back to the 3D model to cover some of the other key functionality available within the 3D environment to establish content in packages. At any time, if I want to clear all the filters or any selected filters, I can do so. So I'll go ahead and clear that filter, and I'll also use my home command to go back to the particular location that it was at. And I'm going to show a few other things, the first of which is the quick find command. If I want to quickly find any component in the model, so what here I'll do here is enter valve and then execute that search option. As you see, it brings up a list of all the valves that are in the system. If I want to jump to one of those, I just simply hit the fit to command to jump to those valves. If I wanted to see any particular properties, I would hit the information icon that you see, and it would bring up the physical properties of that actual valve. So you can see that. And if any time you wanted to save that filter, you could save that filter out to the system. And then later on, when you come back in, you can bring this back up. And you can make that available for all users or just yourself if you wanted to. So I'll save that one because later on we'll come back and show how you can retrieve saved filters. So that's another quick find command. I'd like to go back to the filters command and show how it can be used to narrow down what you may want to see. So let's go in and say we want to apply a structural filter to this particular model. So I'll drag and drop the structural filter onto the model. You can see in the background that it applied that filter in a particular color that you have chosen. But you can change that to whatever color you wanted to. So if you wanted to see that in purple, you just simply change that to purple. Now you can apply in conjunction with that additional filters. If you wanted to see the electrical raceway in the context of that, I could apply that. So you see now I can see the electrical raceway in the context of that. Or the piping itself. Go ahead and select piping and apply that into the model also. It will color in all the piping components, as you can see. So this can be continuously applied so that you see all the disciplines within the model, see the equipment, the electrical raceway, structural, etc. And if any time you wanted to save this for later, you could actually save this filter to be a composite view, a multidiscipline view, be brought back later for looking at the data. So I'll go ahead and save that. We'll come back to that a little bit later. I'm going to go ahead and clear the filter again and move to the next key capability in the system, which is a very powerful feature, which allows you to select components, have a selection rule that's either by component, by ISO drawing, or by spool, or by volume. What I'm going to do is use my navigation feature here to best demonstrate this. I'm going to fly into a particular portion of the model that has various piping, multidiscipline components in there. What I'll do is back up here just a little bit, pan down, and I'm going to show you how this works. So if I come in and I select my selection rule, and I have it at component, and I touch a component in the model and select on that component, notice how the selection results in that one item that I have selected, which I can now quickly drag and drop into a package if I choose to do so. However, I can make this much more efficient if I say, let's say by isometric drawing, I want the selection rule to be executed. So now, whenever I select on that particular component, notice how it highlights the entire drawing that the component is on. Again, I can take the selection results and drag and drop those into a package. Also for spools, you know the spools that are in the particular package. So if you come up and you select a particular item now, it highlights just the spool, and then just the spool can be placed as a single component in the package. The last but not least, I'm going to go back to home to show this particular capability, is the selection rule of volume, which basically provides you a clipping volume that allows you to define how you want the particular volume of this to look. So let's adjust this just to pick up this particular pipe rack area here. So what I'll do is zoom this in just a little bit. I can use this in conjunction with my vertical encircle mode so that whenever I actually can move that around to see where I stand, see I need to I'm going to go ahead and apply this particular filter by selecting on it. And this is going to interface with an external system in the form of an access database that tracks the statuses of gate valves. And this is just going to bring me about all the gate valves that have been verified. So I think there's 3 in the system there. I can go ahead and zoom to those and look at the properties of those. So that's just another example of how you can actually apply interfaces to external systems data. Same for materials data. If I wanted to see visually what was reserved or where ETAs were greater than required on site, all this is possible. Same for package data. If I wanted to see just my particular package, I could just drag and drop onto that particular thing, and I could see the 2 piping spools that were in this particular package. You can quickly see your content of the packages that you are building from your quick filters also. Another one, and I'll go ahead and clear this to kind of show how this works in the context of the model, is to remember our save filters. I've gone in and saved some filters, and if I want to, basically come back to exactly where I was, let's say for a view or something, here's one I saved for a spool view. I just simply click that, and what it does, it goes and retrieves that save filter, brings it, and displays it to me just like the way I saved it in the previous one. What you're seeing here is a particular drawing with the spools actually highlighted in different colors. Each of these are different spools for that particular drawing. So just be aware you can always execute saved filters. Again, we'll go back to clear to basically represent so you can see how this all happens in the context of the entire model. And move on down the list here. Another one is spools. As you saw a moment ago, I displayed a drawing, but I could also display individual spools and drag and drop those into the package. So I just right there went and got a single spool piece, just one little piece. And I can drag and drop that into the package also. So these are all intelligent filters based on the data that's in the database and the nice graphical user interface to allow you to access that data. I'm going to move on to the next part of the demonstration, which is the actual work schedule animation. What I'm going to do is go into a particular area where I know I've built a module or a set of packages for this particular model. And I'm going to bring this in, stop about right there. Go ahead and get some more space by collapsing the work package browser at the bottom. And then I'm going to invoke my animation capability. I could play 1 week. I could play 3 weeks ahead. I could play 8 weeks. I could adjust the actual time interval that I want to actually play through, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go out and animate those packages that are scheduled between July the 5th and September the 3rd. And I'm going to say for every 1 second, I want you to jump 7 days through the schedule. So I'll proceed with the animation by playing it. You can see how this will work. The planned start is blue. The actual start is green. And you can see the procession of this particular package over time. Now, at any time, you can pause. You can see your current date and know where you are in that. And you can rewind and restart it and play it back. You would be able to see other packages where somebody else could have built packages during those time intervals that may be in your area or in your path. You would be able to see those, and you could work with that other planner to sequence those packages appropriately so you didn't have conflicts in that particular area. So a quick animation capability to show how you can animate the particular work packages over time. I can clear those quickly. I'm going to show a couple of more features and conclude the demonstration, and then we'll open the forum for questions. And again, I'm going to go back to home here and basically show that anytime you want to, you can show your axis so that you know your particular orientation in terms of what direction you're looking, et cetera. You can see this move. And I'll drag the control down a little bit there so you can see this in a better light. You can see that there's a lot of nifty features that are really, really easy to use to allow you to navigate the model and establish content. Keep in mind that these windows are dockable windows, as is the control that go ahead and hit the home button, and that will conclude the demonstration for SmartPlant Construction. And thank you for your attention. We'll open the forum for questions.
Yeah, this is Mike Bass again. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. I think it was an impressive demo, impressive that you get a feel or smell how SmartPlant Construction looks like. And let me continue here exactly. That's right. So this is where we feel when we talked about integrated construction planning, having all information together, be able to create work packages. And what you just saw is basically, yeah, that's the user interface, how you'll be able to create work packages, do your planning, and see the results in terms of 4D animation, in terms of all the data is now available, is materials really available, and so on and so on. And we have obviously, when we developed the software in the last couple of years, we were working together with several leaders in the industry. We called it premier partners. They gave us input in the way, yeah, it really needs to be easy, and you need to do this, and so on and so on. And here you can see some quotes, basically, what these customers are saying about SmartPlant Construction. So what I feel is we go in the right directions, and this is definitely, and you also just said 90% or 95%, you understand the business benefits, and so on. So it's also what the customer base is actually saying, and we do have now several implementations going on around the world in the power industry, but also actually in the offshore industry for SmartPlant Construction. So when you remember why you would ask why construction planning and why we need software, what is really improving? And the typical stuff is if today you create work packages and all this, the difference is it's not just dumb paper. So that's basically what we are saying. It's now it's real data, and the real data just used in several ways. So there we have materials data, we have engineering data, you have the work packages, all relations are there. So the information is really now used to make better decisions. And secondly, it's not just the pure construction planning, here's a work package, and here's the next, and here's the next. And as you know, when you do reporting today, perhaps on paper, you report the construction status by paper, why not see this visually in a 3D model, what the status is? So, because a picture can say more than 1,000 words. You see this on the PowerPoint, so it's making the point. Why are we not reporting in a 3D environment, for example? Obviously, then with the great integrations with any materials informations out of the box with SmartPlant Materials. When you now take all this together, what we just learned, when you have a 1 billion project, we feel actually you can see now here the calculation. So you have a $1 billion project, total installation cost is $1 billion. And here's just to compare with SPC, so we think we can improve by 3.75%. So, and this is conservative at the end. So, because we basically say we're improving construction by, I think we're saying here by 12%, a third of the waiting idle time we discussed in the beginning results then here in a $37.5 million saving. So that's for one project, and then another one, and then another one, and then it gets more and more and more. The technology is there today. It's available, so it's a matter of putting this basically into place. I have now a second poll question coming up, and after this poll question, we will open up for question and answers.
All right, so this question is, do you think SmartPlant Construction can deliver business value geared to improve your construction? Yes, no, unclear. We'll give you a few minutes to answer, a few seconds to answer, I'm sorry. Okay, we had about 74% voted, and the results were 66% yes, 3% no, and 31% unclear.
Okay, that's great. So then 60% are thinking this might be something. So we do have some companies that are people that are unclear. So that's fine. So we need to do a better job to explain the benefits. So, but already 60. What you said, 66, right? So that's great. So basically, I want to open up now the question and answers section. I think you have the question window in the webinar, and Nicole, then you can just fire them questions to me. So we still have 5 minutes, around 5 minutes before we can conclude.
Well, you many more questions than 5 minutes is going to allow. So I will ask a few questions, Michael, but for those of you who were just, because of the number of questions, we're not going to be able to get to all of them. Mike, could you give your email address or a way for folks to contact you directly if they have follow-on questions?
Absolutely. So my email address is michael.bus@intergraph.com.
Perfect. And folks can always email me as well, and I can forward that to you. But all right, we'll start with some of the questions. Is SmartPlant web-based or locally installed on the computer?
It's a local installation. It's a .NET application using Microsoft technology, and it's using to allow you the specific 3D modeling, reviewing, rendering, actually some hardware acceleration behind it. Companies, if you want to have a web deployment, it really works fine on a Citrix farm.
Okay, custom work packages estimated man hours are currently a user input. Is there any plan to make SPC calculate such estimates based on configurable custom rules and templates?
Yes, an easy yes.
Oh. Is there also a dashboard where project management can have a first indication about the work packages being on track or delayed?
That's the next step. That's a good question. So we now have all the detailed information for work packages. We have these work packages started and finished. And the next level is putting a dashboard basic together. So how many work packages are delayed? How many, so now which color? So these work packages are in red. So that you have basically a dashboard. Click on it. These work packages are in trouble. Click on it, and then you can see the details. Yes, it's not available today. It's coming.
Okay, what is the hardware requirement for using SPC? Does it sell as one project or as a corporate solution? And some of these questions you may want to just follow up with people individually too, Mike. So
yeah. So both. I mean, it's based on project requirements. So pretty flexible how you want to deploy it.
Okay, is there an open interface to introduce data from other systems such as SAP, procurement data, or Primavera, et cetera? And actually there's quite a few questions kind of in that same ilk and spirit as far as what can be imported or exported into the system. Any folks have specific questions about specific software as well as Excel spreadsheets and whatnot, so maybe you could just take that at level.
Yeah, so it's not just Intergraph software that is around, so we obviously realizing there's also other software vendors around. For example, take materials information. So you can hook up basically to any procurement system you have in your company. And we did, for example, at one company in Singapore, we hooked it up to a GD AdWords, so to an ERP system to identify material availability. Or you can load Excel sheets. So if you have information of available in Excel sheets, then you can read this. I don't know if you remember, so we were even able to filter the 3D model by having information in an Excel sheet. by external data sources. If you don't like, for example, in scheduling, if we don't like integration directly with Primavera, that can be an offline integration, or in the worst case, we just get a schedule as an Excel sheet also. So I feel it's pretty open, and there are, we call it APIs around it, that can be then utilized during a deployment.
Mike, someone wants to know, couldn't this software be used for normal operations and not just construction? And if so, what would be the downside, or would there be a downside?
In the moment, we want to target on the EPCs, and there is the same work process or the same issue in terms of maintenance. So when you operate a plant, then there's obviously maintenance work to do, and you create a maintenance work package. And it's perhaps not even just by days, it's then perhaps even by hours and minutes, because it's really critical. So there might be an opportunity here to grow into this arena. But at the moment, we're talking for this SmartPlant construction solution to the EPCs. We do have our own operator solution, SmartPlant Own Operator, where we might think to include some functionality of this into this solution.
Okay, well, we have many more questions, but we've run out of time. So for those of you we didn't get a chance, and there's so many, this was a very obviously informative and definitely a new and innovative tool that people want more information about. So I just want to thank everyone who joined us today, and also thank you very much, Mike, for joining us and spending the hour and sharing this information with us. And for those that we didn't get a chance to get to, please feel free, michael.bus@intergraph.com, or you can always contact me and I'll forward the questions to Mike. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for attending, and very exciting, and shoot me an email. Thank you.
Great. Bye-bye.